So I want to talk to you guys about my previous marriage and a little bit about what happened and why I think that I became so anxious and depressed and isolated myself and stopped trusting people. And I'm not telling you this to feel sorry for me. I'm telling you this because people need to be aware of this problem in our society and that know that you're not alone with this. I just want to bring awareness to my story, and I don't want you to feel sorry for me, and I don't want you to be sympathetic or whatever, feel sad for me, because it's done and over with. And I'm stronger because of it. And I just want other people to know that they can get out of a bad relationship if they need to. And if you're going through what I went through, I want you to know that I will be there for you and will help you out of it if you need it. But anyways, so I was in the military for 5 years. You guys, most of you already know this. 2008 was when I went in. I was fresh out of high school. 17 years old, young, naive, dumb, stupid. Would fall for any guy that came my way. So, let's see, 2008 went in. 2010 came along. Got stationed in California, Camp Pendleton. I spent most of my enlistment there and deployed a couple times in between. So January 2010, I met this guy named Mike, and we dated for a couple of months, and I thought he was the one. He was my Prince Charming. He was so kind, generous, loving. Like, he treated me like I was his queen. Like, he treated me like I was absolute gold, and it was literally like the best parts of my life that I thought at the time. So a couple months we dated, and then we both ended up getting deployed to Afghanistan in February of 2010. We dated during that deployment for the entire time, and during that whole time we just talked on the phone and through email and stuff like that. And through that whole time, he was buttering me up and making me feel good about myself and telling me I was his angel and his queen and princess, whatever. So the military was gonna try to separate us because they found out we were dating. So in the military, it's really like that, like fraternization, all that stuff. So we decided that we were gonna get married when we got back from our deployment. So that's what we did. It was September 2010, we got married, and it was like the best time of our lives, whatever. It was awesome. He treated me great. Never had a guy treat me that well before in my life. And then about a month or two in our marriage, things started changing. He started becoming more aggressive, more angry, more hateful, negative. Everything that came out of his mouth was just negative, hateful, everything. It was just brought me down too. He would talk about how much he hated the military and hated everyone, and it kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. I kind of absorbed his negativity because I was around him all the time. And on top of that, he was very emotionally manipulative, narcissistic, very, he would make up stories. Every word that came out of his mouth seemed like it was a lie. And on top of that, he was emotionally abusive towards me. Everything that I did was my fault, or everything that happened in our relationship was my fault, whether it was good or bad. Mostly bad. He'd blame me for everything. he would turn into the sweetest guy one day, and then the next day he would turn into Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of deal. And it was just a continuous cycle of emotional manipulation, yelling and screaming in my face. He got physically abusive with me and put his arms around my neck and things like that too, over small little things that I had done on accident, or accidental things, like parking my car in the wrong spot, or like something like really silly things like that, or not cooking dinner the way he wanted it. One night I made dinner and it had onions in it, and he basically yelled at me and threw it in the trash, and like things like that were absolutely ridiculous. So this went on. It got worse and worse. We ended up moving to Kentucky, but that was based on another agreement that he made me do. He was physically and sexually abusive towards me. Pretty much the entire time we were together, married. It got worse and worse as the years went on. And I felt very alone and isolated, and because I wasn't around my family at all. I was in Arizona around his family, so I had nobody. I felt like I had no way out. I put up with all of this for 5 years. 2010 to 2015, I finally said enough is enough, and it actually took him cheating on me for me to leave him, which is really sad because it should have left him 4 years prior to that. So I put up with his abuse for 4 years, basically. And I just wanted to say all of this because nobody should have to go through what I went through. I wasted 5 years of my life being abused by somebody who I thought loved me, who I kept giving more chances to. It was a never-ending cycle. He would be the sweetest man alive, and then he would turn like an instant. And this is how all of these relationships, abusive relationships, go. It is an endless cycle of love, and then they do something abusive, and then they apologize and say they will never do it again, and then they do it again. And it's like this constantly. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and it escalates, and people get beaten to death, and women are killed from this. And I allowed myself to be a part of it for 5 years because I was afraid to get out. I was afraid of change. I felt guilty because maybe it was my fault. Maybe I did something wrong, that's how he manipulated my mind for 5 years. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe I was in the wrong. Maybe I wasn't the one that was not good enough. Or maybe it really was my fault that he was treating me this way. And it wasn't. I'm here to tell you that if you are being abused by somebody, if somebody is treating you like garbage, it is their fault, not yours. End of story. They have a battle within themselves so that they are fighting, and then they throw it on everyone else. It's on them, not you. So I'm just here to tell you that if you are in a relationship like I was for 5 years, you need to get out. First signs of abuse, emotional abuse, anger, all those things. The first signs that you notice the person you are with is being that way, you need to get out before it escalates. You need to get out. I was lucky to get out when I did. I was lucky to have my family there. I was lucky to be able to move back to Kentucky and have the support of my family to be able to leave him. And I'm just letting you all know, if you are going through any of this that I went through, don't be afraid to reach out to me, because I'll help you in a heartbeat. because I know what it's like, and it's not fun to go through that. So yeah, I'm in a much better place now. I'm with somebody who loves me and cares about me. Yeah, we have our issues, but everyone has their issues. Relationships have their issues. But abuse is where you need to draw the line, whether it's physical, emotional, sexual, physical, anything. You need to get out. Just get out. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't feel sorry for me. Just take it as I want to help you. I want to help whoever I can. I don't want anybody to have to go through what I did.